Hello and welcome. For China Solved, I'm Andrew Hubert, and this is the China Negotiator. Episode 23, Trade War and Uncertainty. When it comes to trade tension in general, and especially in China, the only certainty is that there's going to be more uncertainty. This bout of trade tension is likely to last for at least a year, possibly two. It's already spreading beyond tariffs, and delays, inspections, and bureaucracy are going to slow down your China deals. Three takeaways from uncertainty and trade wars. First, there's a bias for inaction. Number two, relationship building is your key challenge. And three, competitive advantages go to disruptors. Let's look at each one in a little bit more detail. Deals in China are going to get slower as people wait for things to become clearer. Trade tensions magnify uncertainty, and everyone's risk profile just went through the roof, especially in China. So you should be preparing for periods of involuntary patience when you're waiting for bureaucratic approval, or you're waiting for a decision to be made higher up, and you don't know who's making the decision or what they're considering. And the Chinese are reintroducing a phrase from the bad old days. The Chinese counterpart is starting to say, 没有办法, which is Chinese for there's nothing that can be done. And this is not a good phrase to hear when you're waiting on a Chinese approval. Generally speaking, Chinese decision makers facing uncertainty will freeze up, they'll go to ground, and they will wait for more information, even if it takes years. Next is relationship building. Relationship building is more difficult and more important than ever. The Chinese media have already started portraying you as an enemy of China. So you have to be very careful to control your own story. You want to strike a balance. You don't want to come off as a trade warrior, but you also don't want to throw your own country under the bus. So there's an old Chinese expression, an adage that will come in very handy. The mountains are high and the emperor is far away. So your attitude should be, I just want to do deals. I don't really know about politics. I don't care about politics. I just care about finding a good partner and being a good partner in return. Do you know anyone like that? At which point your Chinese counterpart is supposed to say, I agree completely. I feel the same way. It's good. And if he looks at you and says, I don't think so, then you've got to keep looking for a new counterparty. So towards that end, you want to be very conscious of the language that you use and the language being used in your direction. One phrase you do not want to hear is containing China. This is Beijing's all-purpose indictment of all Western trade policy, that we're just trying to contain China. And along with that goes anything having to do with strict control of technology. You might see this as just protecting your own business interests, but an official Chinese counterparty is going to see it as an attempt to contain China. So there are a couple of red flags you want to look out for. You don't want to hear the word hegemony, which is back in official usage, and it just means taking over the world. And China likes to accuse the United States of being hegemonist. And another danger phrase is sovereignty, which now includes South China Sea, Taiwan, and a lot of other issues that you just aren't prepared to deal with. So you just want to avoid these red flags if possible. And finally, you might have an advantage even though you aren't aware of it. Trade wars are bad for incumbents. So if you have been locked out of a big market or a key partnership by a big international player, by one of the big MNCs, this may be a good time for you to test the waters. Chinese also feel that they're being shut out of Western markets, and they see corporates, especially big corporations, as complicit or as, the ones that are enacting this policy. That's the way it is in China. Beijing is desperate to boost its own technology and its own markets for that technology. They want to complete their technology chain in China where they're designing, they're producing, they're buying, and they're using. So you need to position yourself as a non-ideological business person with tools and know-how to fill specific gaps. You have the missing piece of the puzzle for the domestic Chinese market. Another creative thing you can do is to look for ways to leverage your network to help Chinese partners access non-U.S. markets. China is being pretty much shut out of the U.S. market, so they're looking for other markets. And if this is something you can help out with, you're in a position to get paid for that. Final word, this trade war is expected to last at least 18 months. And a change in leadership or attitude in the United States will probably not change the situation appreciably in the short term. So dig in, get ready. The trade war is here, and you've got to figure out a way to turn things to your advantage. Thanks very much for listening. Hopefully you found this useful. Hit subscribe on the China Solved YouTube channel to get more of this. And this is part of an ongoing course called Negotiate for Success in China. Right now it's available on Udemy for individuals. And if you're a school or company that wants to talk about doing something custom, please let me know. Also, buy the book Fragile Bridge, Conflict Management in Chinese Business, which is suddenly hot again. Thanks very much. For China Solved, I'm Andrew Hubert. I look forward to talking to you again soon.